and welcome to Teenz Time. Teenz Time is aimed at enhancing educational and moral values as well as tackling teenage-related issues. And as usual, I am Ijoma Idika Chima. Today we will be looking at the effects of teenage sex. Sex creates curiosity, which leads to experimentation, especially with teenagers. They are influenced by their peers, lack of guidance, and misleading information. Now, millions of teenagers ignore the risk of teenage sex and they suffer the consequences. Well, we'll find out so much about the effects of teenage sex. Keep watching.
We all tell our teenagers not to have sex until they're grown up. We all love to think they are not having sex until they're grown up, but that is not the truth. The truth is that they're having sex, and kids are becoming sexually active at an earlier and earlier age.
It's not the best for teenagers to get married early. It's not the best because there are so many challenges that come up with early marriage. It's usually better for one to have gone through school, gotten educated, gotten some experience, emotional maturity, physical maturity, psychological maturity, and then even financial before you finally take that step.
These days, everything is sold with sex. Everything is advertised with sex. You see naked women, all the photographs. You see naked women, even to sell a car, you have naked women. Even to sell you salt, they use a naked woman. So that these kids are bombarded with sexuality. Everywhere they turn, there's sex going on, and that is the main problem. And of course, they have peer pressure and things like that. But media is the major problem. We become an information age. We become an information world, and the world has become a global village. So a lot of things are out there that is not right and proper for kids to see at a certain age, but they are there anyway, and they're right under their noses.
If an adult male marries a teenager, having sex with her, he could traumatize her, which could lead to so many complications later in life. VVF and so many others complications can be resulted from just the physical trauma itself, and then there's emotional trauma that can come, and psychological trauma, because they usually are not prepared at that very young age.
We should start educating these children and letting them understand what sex is, how sex should be done properly, at what age it should be done, and totally demystify it.
Take concrete, committed decisions. The first one will be you are going to be a virgin up until you get married, and then you're going to give yourself to your spouse.
Of course, you have all kinds of sexually transmitted infections they can be exposed to. They can have gonorrhea, they can have herpes, they can have chlamydia, and even the worst case scenario, they could have HIV, which could come into AIDS. And of course, the girls could have unplanned pregnancy. We don't say unwanted anymore, we say unplanned. So when they have unplanned pregnancy, and you know, these kids are not developed enough to handle pregnancy, they're not yet at that stage, even physically and mentally and emotionally especially, and it could seriously interrupt the social development and growth of such a teenager. So it's not a palatable thing, but it's something that is really happening, and happening a whole lot more.
Well, we've seen the effects of teenage sex. Now, teenagers who are sexually active experience physical and emotional damage. The best option is abstinence. But if you decide to experiment, then be matured enough to take responsibility for your action. Well, this is where we wrap up for this week, but we hope to see you next week. Over now to Onyedia.